Hello, welcome to my store. It's pretty great. Hey, so if you haven't seen these guys before, this was my project for a lot of the last 7 months, and that was photo scanning my friends and trying to turn them into little digital models. All of these guys are rigged and ready for mocap and all of that, and this was hard. The photo scanning was one project, but trying to get the mocap to play nice with the rigs was literally the hardest thing I've ever tried to do in CG. All of these guys are available for the $7 people, but I'm gonna make, I think, this guy available along with some mocap data for everybody if you just want to do some experimenting. Because the goal with all this was something I've never been able to come close to doing, and that's populating scenes with any halfway reasonable facsimile of humanity. And so these guys work fine for kind of, background shots and stuff. That they're super uncanny valley if you get close. But yeah, I'm pretty excited with how they're working. So I finally kind of gave up on the retargeting because that's where you take mocap data with, it basically says, hey, this bone's moving like this bone's moving like this, and you apply that information onto a different rig. And if anything was off, if any bone orientation was off, or scaling, or location, or like, this is how big rigs import into Blender. If you turn off the scaling, if I hit Alt-S, they're a kilometer tall. And so I'd end up in all of these situations where all of the mocap was working, except the root bone was still offsetting the original amount. And I tried, you're probably wondering, like, did you apply the transformation? Yes, I applied every transformation. I spent days and days and days. And so what I finally ended up doing was just applying, I morphed all of the photo scan data to just match these rigs through this very convoluted process. I like it. It's good, but Rococo has been working. They're this really cool mocap suit kind of setup, and they're trying to get good integration with Blender. So this is their add-on for mostly live streaming that data into Blender. Hey, it's a Michael Rena! But they added a retargeting tool, which works better than anything I've used, and as far as I know, it's the only free option for Blender. Like, you do have to, I think, register with them so you can log in, but I think that's free. Because I used Auto Rig Pro, which is great for rigging and stuff, but I tried so many times, I was never able to actually get it to retarget like Mixamo data onto other types of rigs. It was just something always went wrong, and this is the first one that just kind of worked out of the box. So first, I'm going to show you how to apply mocap data onto these guys, and then I'm going to show you the Mixamo method, because let's see. So you can download this below if you want. This is conversing, and make sure animation's checked. I think this is probably a good idea to check too. Another thing, if you have this add-on installed, it will speed up FBX imports by like 10 times, which is great. They used to take forever. So here we go. This is the mocap data. It's just a talking guy. I recorded this a while ago. So let's open up the dope sheet here, and we can get a bunch of information. If we go into the action editor, and we can grab all of these keyframes. This is a lot of keyframes. In fact, if we try to play it right now, it lags. We get like 5 frames per second, and that's because it's got so many keyframes. The rotation, scale, location of every single bone on every single thing, and it's absolutely bonkers. If you just get out of this menu, go somewhere else, it plays back 25 frames per second, and that's what we want. So going back here, that's just a thing to keep in mind. Usually it imports with some kind of wacky name. I'm just going to call this conversing. And now, anybody we want to, we can select their rig and just say, hey, you are conversing now. And then, remember, it's still playing slow, but there he is, he's talking. And let's grab Selena here, and let's make her converse too. And naturally, they will be conversing in perfect sync, but if we make this animation single user, we can just select all of these keyframes and drag them over, and now I did some texture painting, so when you get far away, the bitmaps or whatever start to look kind of weird. It doesn't render like that, but that's part of the learning process. All of these guys are from different stages along the learning process, and I rigged them all up so they should all work pretty good with everything. But yeah, now these guys are just kind of talking. And so that was my first technique, and that's because I built their entire rig around just this Rococo mocap data. But a lot of people were finding when they tried to apply Mixamo mocap data to these rigs, stuff was getting confusing, and until a couple days ago, I wouldn't have had a solution. But let's go through the Rococo solution real quick here. Here's the Samba Dance from Mixamo. Import that. You can see it imports just so big. But we can grab this guy, and all we have to do is in the Rococo add-on, we select the source, this one, and we select the armature we want. Has us build the bone list, make sure auto scale is on, retarget. That's it. Great. And sometimes you'd have to. I'll link to the video where Sam explains all of this a bit better, because sometimes you might have to babysit this a little bit. But in this case, you don't. And so now we've just got Mr. Oh, it's ran out of animation. Mr. Samba guy. Just works just like that. Very, very exciting. And I wish I had this months and months and months and months ago. But yeah, hopefully that's a help. I can share some of the things I learned about photo scanning and rigging up and cleaning up these guys. Turns out the sculpting tools and the texture paint tools and booleans and all of that all work really well to create a nice workflow for getting these guys all going. They're not perfect, but again, they work really good for just kind of filling out a background scene.
I want a perfect body.